In the past, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made many choices that allowed them to live a very fancy life. But lately, they do not have a lot of money coming in every month from their old jobs. Meghan wants to travel the world to help people, and she says she is here to help for a long time. This is why it was such a big surprise when the Duke of Sussex showed up at a special meeting in San Francisco. At this meeting, Harry said 5 words that he can never take back. He was at a health event and he told everyone that being free can sometimes feel like being in a cage. This is a very big deal for everyone watching. For many years, we watched him walk away from his royal life and his crown. He broke ties with his family and stood by Meghan through everything. He was the loyal prince who picked love instead of his royal duties. But now, that version of Harry is starting to change. He is finally admitting things that are not just about helping Meghan. He is starting to wake up to things he did not see coming. This is Harry using his own words to say that the life he thought would make him happy might have trapped him instead. What he did next really surprised every person who was watching him that day. Last week, something very strange happened at a health event in California. No one expected Harry to say what he did. He talked about how for many, many years, people have told lies about him and his family. The whole event was supposed to be very quiet and private. There were not many cameras or news people invited to see it happen. The focus of the meeting was on how men can take care of their minds and their feelings. Harry is very comfortable talking about these kinds of things. He has talked about being sad and dealing with hard feelings for a long time now. He stood on the stage with a microphone in his hand. He was wearing casual clothes and looked like a regular guy from California. He talked about being sad when someone dies and how hard it is to lose someone you love very much. He talked about trying to find a reason to be happy when life feels very heavy. These are things he has said many times before at other events. Everything was going smoothly and everyone was listening quietly. It all felt very safe and controlled until someone asked a question that changed the whole mood of the room. The person leading the talk asked Harry a very serious question that day. He asked Harry if he had ever felt like he lost the real version of himself because of love. Harry became very still. He did not just stop to think for a second. This was something much deeper. People who were there said his whole face changed in a split second. The polished smile he always wears for the cameras was totally gone. His shoulders got very tight and his jaw was closed hard. For a moment, it looked like he was going to get up and walk away without saying a single word, but he stayed in his chair. There was a very long and awkward silence that made everyone in the room feel very nervous. Finally, he let out a very big breath. It did not look like he was acting or trying to be dramatic for a show. It was real. It was the sound of a person who had been keeping a secret locked inside for way too long. It had been 6 long years to be exact. It was the kind of breath you take when you finally stop telling yourself lies. When he finally spoke, his voice was much quieter and softer than it usually is. King Charles was reportedly not sad for Harry. He was more focused on being the king. Harry spoke to the room like he was trying to figure things out in his own head. He admitted that there was a time when he really lost who he was. He said there was a period where he looked in the mirror and did not know the person looking back. He thought he was moving toward freedom when he left England. Then he said those words, "Sometimes freedom can look a lot like a cage." The room was so silent that no one dared to move. Those words hit very hard. Everyone knew he was talking about his life right now in California with Meghan. He was saying that the life he built for himself feels like a prison. Nobody really talks about how much money Harry and Meghan need. Living in California is very expensive. They have to pay millions of dollars every year to keep their life going. They have to pay for their own security guards because they don't have royal protection anymore. They also have a giant house with a very big mortgage. They have a lot of people working for them. They travel all the time and wear very expensive clothes. It all costs a lot of money and the bills never stop coming. For most of his life, Harry never had to worry about money. His family was very rich and they paid for everything. He could just do his work and not check his bank account. That all changed when he left. Now he has to make money or everything will break. Things are getting complicated for them. Their big deal with Spotify is over. Their deal with Netflix is also getting cold. Their shows are not doing as well as they hoped. People are not as interested in them as they were a few years ago. In Hollywood, if you don't make big hits, people move on to someone else. The pile of money they thought they would have is getting smaller. Harry is feeling a lot of pressure. He went from a palace where everything was free to a world where he has to sell things to survive. Their giant house cost $14 million. In his new life, he is only as good as the last business deal he signed. He was not ready for this big change. Meghan is trying to fix the money problems by working harder. She is starting new brands and selling more things. She even started a lifestyle brand that sells jars of jam. To her, this makes sense. You have to build a brand to make money in America, but for Harry, these things feel wrong. It doesn't feel like he is helping the world. It feels like he is selling pieces of his life. Every jar with their name on it reminds him that their life is just a business now. Everything is content for a TV show or a post on the internet. This realization is really making him feel bad. He missed the days when his life was about duty and not about selling products. People in Hollywood are starting to whisper that the Sussex brand is broken. Harry traded his royal life for what he thought was freedom, but he is finding out that this new freedom has its own problems. He has to work all the time to keep the money coming in. The palace was like a cage, but at least he knew he was safe. Now he sees that his new dream is very expensive. He has to sell his privacy to pay the bills. Their life is not a safe place anymore. It is a brand that has to make money. Harry is starting to see that he is not living for himself. He is living for the business of Harry and Meghan. That is the cage he was talking about. It is the one he built around himself. The video of Harry at the wellness meeting spread very fast. Within minutes, it was everywhere. Millions of people watched it and talked about Harry's face. Back at their home, things were not good. Meghan was very upset and tried to fix the problem right away. She was walking back and forth on her marble floors. She was barefoot and was always on her phone. She was yelling at her team to get the video taken down. She wanted it scrubbed from the internet immediately. She didn't care how much money it would cost. But you cannot take back words once they are already out there. The words "freedom can look like a cage" were already being shared by everyone. No PR team could stop it. When Harry finally came home, they had a giant fight. People say it was one of the biggest arguments they have ever had. It was not a normal fight, it was like a volcano exploding. Meghan felt like Harry hurt her in front of the whole world. She thought he made her look like the bad guy. She said he made her look cold and mean. She was angry because he didn't warn her about what he was going to say. She said he ruined everything they had worked so hard to build. She said he gave the newspapers exactly what they wanted. But Harry did not say sorry. He didn't try to make her feel better. He stood his ground. He told her that he was just being honest. The room went very quiet. He was saying he was done pretending. Meghan slammed the door so hard the house shook. The internet reaction was very fast. People who watched the royals looked at every part of the video. People on TikTok talked about his voice and how he looked. They all thought the same thing: Harry is finally breaking. Even the British papers were happy to hear this news. They wrote about trouble in paradise. They had been guessing that things were bad for a long time. Now they had proof from Harry's own mouth. People were making funny videos and jokes about the situation. The couple who used to be so popular was now being mocked by everyone. It was a very bad look for their brand. Even after the fight and the bad headlines, Harry did not look angry. People who saw him in the next few days said he actually looked happy and relieved. It was like finally saying the truth out loud made him feel much lighter. He didn't have to carry the heavy weight of a lie anymore. A friend said it was like he finally admitted to himself that this was not the life he wanted. Once you say it out loud, you can't go back to pretending that everything is perfect. He looked like a man who was finally starting to wake up. There was a moment at a baseball game that showed everyone how Harry was feeling. They were sitting in their seats and a camera for the big screen found them. It was a kiss cam. Everyone expected them to have a sweet moment and a kiss for the crowd. That is what a happy couple is supposed to do, but Harry did not want to do it. He didn't lean in or smile. He didn't play along with the plan. He just sat there looking very tired and very done. It only lasted a few seconds, but it showed that he is tired of acting. He won't be a royal prop anymore. This was a big statement, even if he didn't use words. People have noticed that Harry has changed. He is very quiet now and stays to himself. Friends say he is not the same person they used to know. The version of Harry who was the loudest person at the table is gone. He used to light up a room with a joke or a story. Now he spends a lot of time all alone. He walks in the gardens at night when everyone is sleeping. He sits by the fire for hours and just stares at the flames. He doesn't read or watch TV. He is just lost inside his own head. It is like he is trying to find something he lost. Or maybe he is trying to figure out how he ended up in this place. Harry stopped taking calls from Meghan's famous friends in Hollywood. He is quietly stepping away from that fancy world. He is doing this on purpose. He realized that he has no family near him. His dad is across the ocean. His brother is very far away from him emotionally. The old friends who knew him before he met Meghan are not in his life anymore. For a long time, there has only been one person telling him what to do. That was Meghan. This realization hit him very hard. He looks around and sees that he is very lonely. He left his royal family to be free, but now he is trapped in a different way. He is trapped by brand deals and fake stories. Even his kids, Archie and Lily, are not growing up the way he wanted. He watches them and worries that they are just becoming content for a TV show. Every big moment in their life could be sold to make money. He spent his whole childhood being watched and having his picture taken. He hated it. Now he is scared that he is doing the same thing to his own children. This time the cameras are inside his own house. That fear makes him feel very guilty. He wanted to be a regular dad raising kids away from the news. But in their house, everything is part of the business. He feels like he is helping to build a trap for his kids. Harry started doing something nobody expected. He began reaching out to people from his old life in England. He wasn't calling famous people or news writers. He was calling old friends from his time in the military. These were guys he served with who knew the real Harry. He even called a person who used to work at the palace. These calls weren't about making news. He was just looking for a solid place to stand. He wanted to remember who he was before all the cameras and the documentaries. He wanted to talk to people who knew him when his life made sense. A few weeks ago, Harry went to a meeting for veterans in Santa Barbara. There were no cameras or press people there. Meghan was not there either. It was just a room full of people who knew what it meant to serve in the army. Harry got very emotional. It was a very real moment. He wasn't acting for a Netflix show. He was just being himself. He started to cry and his voice was shaking. This was the first time people had seen him be this real in a very long time. He wasn't performing grief for a camera. He was just a man feeling very sad. At that meeting, Harry said something that made everyone stop and think. He looked at the other soldiers and said, "You don't realize how lost you are until someone takes your compass away." He was admitting that he lost his way. He let someone else lead him for a long time and now he doesn't know where he is. He didn't stop there. He said he thought he was doing the right thing, but he stopped being himself along the way. This news spread through the veteran group very fast. They were worried about him because they could see he was in a crisis. He was losing himself to something he couldn't name. While Harry is falling apart, Meghan is trying to keep their image strong. She is trying to protect the brand they built. She knows that if their story breaks, there is no way to fix it. She tried to take control of the news. She went back to her old plan. She tried to make herself look like a victim again. She wanted to look like a woman who was being treated unfairly by the media. She wanted people to feel sorry for her, but something different happened this time. Nobody came to help her. Her celebrity friends stayed quiet. The magazine editors moved on. The Hollywood freeze-out is real and it is very hard. It is not that people are being mean to Meghan. It is that they just don't care anymore. This is worse than being hated. It is being ignored. The movie business has decided that the Sussex drama is not worth the trouble. Her agents are having a hard time finding her jobs. She doesn't get invited to the big parties like the Met Gala anymore. The famous power couples like the Obamas and the Beckhams have moved away from them. They are doing this quietly, but it is very clear. Hollywood sees them as a risk. They see them as people who bring drama and leak secrets. In a world where your image is everything, they are seen as toxic. Meghan is finding out that her title does not help her if people don't like her behavior. She has the word Duchess in her name, but she doesn't have a royal court. She is just another celebrity in Hollywood trying to stay famous. The silence from her old friends is very loud. It is breaking her heart in ways she won't show the public, but she can't hide it forever. People who work for her are starting to see the truth. She is realizing that a title means nothing if the public doesn't believe in you. Late one night, a staff member heard Meghan on the phone. She was crying and her voice was shaking. She said, "I gave up everything for him and now he is making me look like a bad person." This shows what she is really worried about. She is not worried about her marriage or her husband. She is worried about her own reputation. She is afraid that the public will turn on her. She doesn't want to look like the villain in the story. If Harry tells everyone that he was unhappy, she loses everything. She is not fighting to save Harry. She is fighting to save her own image. Harry is finally starting to see the difference. There is a new story going around in the book world. Harry is reportedly working on a new book, but it is not another book about royal secrets. It is a book about himself. It is a book about what happens when you lose yourself in someone else's dream. It is about love and sacrifice and how those things can change you. This is a very dangerous book for Meghan. It is not about attacking his family. It is about Harry trying to find out who he is when he is all alone. People who have seen it say it is very honest and real. Harry is writing a story that is not managed by a PR team. For the first time in a long time, he is telling his own story. He is writing about his mother. He is not using her as a weapon. He is writing about how much it hurt to lose her. He is writing about trying to fill that sad hole with the wrong things. He is writing about how confused he felt when he left England. He discovered that the other side was not freedom. It was just a different kind of cage made of cameras and contracts. He is writing about how empty his Hollywood life feels. Harry is realizing that having privacy is not the same as having peace. He is saying that he is a real person with feelings, not just a content creator. This book is his way of saying he exists outside of his marriage. That terrifies Meghan. She built everything on the idea that they were a perfect team. If Harry starts speaking for himself, their whole world will fall apart. She needs him to be the happy soldier who stands by her side, but he is becoming something else. He is becoming quieter and more honest. He looks tired and done with the acting. This book is Harry's way of trying to pick the lock on his cage. Once he walks out and breathes the real air, he can never go back. You cannot go back to sleep once you have fully woken up. Harry is finding himself again. He is realizing that he gave up who he was. Now he is trying to find that person before it is too late. He is trying to save his own life and be free from the performance. Harry's book is about him finding his own voice. Meghan cannot control what he writes. This makes her very scared. If Harry stops letting her tell the story, their carefully made image will fall down. She can handle bad news in the papers, but she cannot handle this. This is coming from Harry, the one person she always counted on. If he says he lost himself in the relationship, she becomes the villain. No PR team can fix that. Their brand breaks the moment he stops being a part of it. The fairy tale is officially over. Harry seems ready to let it all fall down. After years of protecting Meghan, he is finally at a point where being honest matters more. The relief on his face is not an accident. He is a man realizing that being honest feels better than living a lie. The cage door is finally open. Harry can see the way out. The question is not if he will leave, it is when. Once you admit you're trapped, you can never go back to the way things were. Harry has one foot out the door and Meghan knows it. This is just the beginning of whatever happens next. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly running out of new ideas. Once you stop pretending for the cameras, you cannot go back. Harry is not just thinking about leaving the cage, he is already moving. Meghan is fighting hard to pull him back in, but you cannot force someone to stay in a prison once they remember what it feels like to be free. Harry is starting to remember his own life. This story